Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host.
Is Residue helping you or hurting you? Hey, Rod here at A Better Way to Farm, where we increase yields and improve profits. Guys, today we want to talk specifically about that time of year. Yep, harvest. We're out there, we're harvesting. The corn is making whatever it is. We're getting the results of a lot of good corn. A lot of that's coming in saying, hey man, we've got 250, 260, 225, 285. And here's what I know. Once we get into those higher yield levels, the residue becomes problematic. And if we don't manage it, it does become hurtful. It hurts us and it doesn't work for us. Let's talk about some things we can do in order to make it be our friend and make it be more helpful. First of all, I'm not going to get into the tillage thing because I know there are people on here who absolutely think no-till is the only way to go, and in some instances, they're 100% correct. There are other people who say minimum till is the only way to go, and they may be correct in their situation, and there are people who are pretty much conventional till, and in some situations that is also correct. So that's up for you to decide. I want to talk about a way to make the residue decompose and recycle faster. The fact of the matter is we do love harvest, but we also know that come springtime, we have to be able to plant. If we don't get that residue to break down, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of trouble come springtime. What am I talking about? Probably we're going to be looking at some things like uneven stands that hurt us from day one. We're going to talk about a ton of nutrients being tied up instead of being available. And we're going to talk about that cold, wet spring that really can hurt you, slow down your planting, slow down your emergence. And the fact is, guys, if we come out here and we do the right things, we can make it better. If we do the wrong things, we're getting robbed blind before we ever get to the beginning of the spring season. So we've put together a recipe that guys have been using for years. There's only 4 ingredients. They build it themselves, and it's a stock digester to help that residue break down. You can purchase a lot of different residue management type materials that you can spray on. And a lot of those residue digesters are very, very effective. And I encourage you to do something. Doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. And so I would encourage you to do that. The fact is, though, here you can come in, you can take 4 very common ingredients. You can put those together in the right ratios, and you can spray it yourself. People say, well, when do you want to do that? Well, guys, here's the deal. We know that biological activity slows down when we get to 50 degrees. Doesn't stop. That's a myth that's been fed to us by people who want us to apply nitrogen way too early. It doesn't stop, but it does reduce at 50 degrees. We know at 32, it slows down significantly. It doesn't come to a complete stop, but it still slows down significantly. Why do I say that? Because we want to apply this product as quickly as we can. You know, right here today, I'm sitting in my office. I can see the thermometer at 78 degrees and it's 10 a.m. in the morning. We're going to get into the upper 80s or lower 90s again. We've been doing that day after day after day here in southern Iowa. And I think a lot of you guys are experiencing very high temperatures. So we would encourage you, spray your stock digester on just as quickly as you can. I know you're in the middle of harvest. I understand that, and it's keep the eye on the prize, work very hard, do what you can. I also know that somebody with a 90-foot boom or 120-foot boom can spray a lot of acres one morning. You know, you guys can go out there, and I'm not sitting here saying you got to have a self-propelled $600,000 sprayer. You can have a pull-type sprayer with a 60-foot boom. You can still cover a lot of ground in a short period of time because you're only going to be spraying about 7.5 gallon of material total. So what are we going to do here? Well, when we spray this on, when we get those stalks to start breaking down, there's a lot of great things that happen. Number one, it makes it easier to manage the residue. Even if you're going to till, I ask of you to consider making a trip with the sprayer first. Why? Because we want to get a good coverage on all that residue with this stock digester. And then when you incorporate it, that only makes that more effective too. Anything we can do to speed that up is a good plan. as we start looking at what are the benefits of this, we've already talked about better stands. We've already talked about warmer soil temperatures. Let me share a story with you. I have a good friend up in northeast Iowa, and I'd been talking to him for 3 or 4 years, and he uses a lot of our products. The matter of fact, the only thing he hadn't done was the stock digester. And last fall, probably just to get me to shut up, he went out and he sprayed some areas with this recipe. He used the 4 ingredients. He sprayed it. This spring he went out because they were getting ready to burn off terraces. So he was going to disc 1 trip around each terrace so the fire didn't get away. And he got out of the tractor and he called me, he said, "Rod, this is amazing." He said, "To the row, you could tell where the sprayer hit and where it quit. Because when I walked through where the sprayer had hit, it just turned to powder. And when I walked over a row or two where it wasn't, the stalks were still those big, hard, actually healthy looking, so to speak, dry stalks." And guys, that stuff takes a long time to break down. I would bet that there are some of you who are out combining beans this fall, and you're still finding stalks from last year, from the fall of 2024. Those have not recycled. Those have not released nutrients. Those are not your friend, okay? They're not helping to raise any kind of organic matter, although that is minimal from the residue, but they are not doing anything to help you, and they're still in your way. I think, to me, one of the biggest advantages of this is nutrient recycling. I want to get the great stand. I want to get the soil to warm up. I want the ground to work better if I'm going to work it. If I don't work it and I'm no-tilling, I want to have better luck with my row cleaners, getting that spot open, getting it ready to go. I get all of that. But guys, in this day and age, every time I flip on I know there's an algorithm, and every time I turn on any social media, it's somebody else talking about $900 or $1,000 a ton DAP. In this day and age, when we're sitting here going, man, these nutrients are expensive, how can we better manage that? One of the things that we should do is we should ascertain how many pounds of phosphorus, how many pounds of potassium are left over in the stover of our corn. And guys, I'm not going to give you the answer today. I'm going to invite you to do some research and look. I'll give you a clue. University of Nebraska at Lincoln did some studies, and you can interpolate what's left over based on the removal and the uptake rates. But guys, it's huge. The amount is huge. And if we can come in there and get several hundred pounds of P and K out of our stalks, get those nutrients to recycle, that has great value. And say, well, we would have got them the next year. Guys, in 2026, what we need to do is make sure we make a profit, okay? We want to do the right thing for 27, but part of the right thing for 27 is to make a profit in 26 so we farm again in 27. And the fact is, guys, there are numerous things that we can do. We are seeing people flourish in this environment. But the key to life is to find out how life works and get on the right side of it. And it's about doing everything we possibly can correctly, whether that be taking that full soil test and applying only what it calls for and nothing more and nothing less, whether it means that we stop over applying NPK and we put on the micronutrients that are needed, whether it means we better manage our nitrogen and maybe we don't front end load it in October, but we turn around and we do 2 shots in the spring to lower that usage number. Maybe it means we use a stock digester, something as simple as a trip over the field with the sprayer to get those nutrients to recycle. Guys, this isn't difficult. And I just want to encourage you to reach out. Karen put on there, if you want the recipe, get a hold of us. Just type in the word digester and someone will get a hold of you. But the fact of the matter is, guys, this is a simple process. And when you do it, there's going to be great things happen for you. Come next spring, you'll be really glad you did this. Come time to figure out how much fertilizer you got to put on, you'll be really glad that you did this. When you start realizing how many pounds of nutrients you're going to get out of that residue and you're going to recycle it and it's going to make your life better, you'll be really glad you did this. Guys, we appreciate you. I know this seems like a very simplistic thing, but sometimes life isn't that difficult. Sometimes it is just pretty simple. Sometimes it's so simple we think, well, that's too easy, that can't work. And so we just simply don't do it. I would encourage you, if you don't want to do it everywhere, give it a go on a few acres. Start small. Whatever you want to do. But guys, I think it's time in the progression of our farming careers here to take a look at something that might make our life a whole lot better for minimal investment and minimal effort. And I just encourage you guys to consider this. Thank you. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you for tuning in. I hope harvest is going really, really good for you. I hope it's going really, really safe for you. And we really do hope you're having a better day.